And welcome to another episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Your host, Noah Love, for this Sunday edition. And today we will be talking about the game sevens of the weekend. The second round of the NBA playoffs are set. Conference semifinals should be fun. All game sevens were in the East. Uh, Obviously, in the West, it's Lakers, Thunder, and Wolves, Spurs. We'll preview that probably tomorrow. Expect the NFL draft video to be up tomorrow as well. I'm back home now, which means I can make more frequent videos. And some days we may be doing 2 vids a day if we can. So with all that being said, let's get into it. I'm going to start on Saturday because I'm going to start with the Sixers coming back down from 3 games to 1 to eliminate the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum did not play in this basketball game because he had some stiffness in his left leg. And yeah, that he had some stiffness in there. And the Celt and the Celtics decided they didn't want to take that chance. Respect. Joe Mazzulla had the wonkiest starting five I've ever seen. This is the starting five he had out there: Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Ron Harper Jr., Baylor Shireman, and Luka Garza. Starting a lineup in Game 7 of the first round that has never started together is a choice. That is a choice. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It's a choice. Um, Joe Mazzulla had a lot of coach. I had a lot of. I just thought he was just throwing stuff at the wall, and thus it stuck. This was a heck of a basketball game. Maxi was great. This series ultimately flipped when in Game 5 the Joel Embiid. I mean, they had no answer for Joel Embiid this whole series. Even in Game 4, no answer. They tried no answer for Joel Embiid. That's what it was. That was the story of the game. They didn't get anything from their bench at all. Uh, but Maxi, 45 minutes, ends up getting 30 points, 11 boards, and 7 assists. He was phenomenal. How about this kid? How about VJ Edgecombe? Not afraid of the moment. 23 points and 6 boards. I think what this game showed me was I think Philly, to me, like this next series they got against the Knicks, this isn't gonna be a cakewalk for New York, or this is gonna be a very tough series. I think the difference between the playoffs between this team this year opposed to previous years is in terms of their starting five. They now have, obviously people can say Paul George is the third option. I actually think he's the fourth option. I actually think the pecking order when healthy goes, they go through Embiid, then it goes Maxi, then it goes Edgecombe, then it goes George. Because I think Edgecombe's just been that great this year. And in this game, the George was efficient. Embiid was obviously great. His body, man, every time he hits the deck, also the shots to a knee. I mean, Embiid was just not settling. And anytime it looked like Boston was going to cut the lead down, or they made a run and they needed a bucket, Joel Embiid just says, we're going to settle this. Mid-range jumper or face-up jumper or get to the line, post-up layup. He just had his way with whoever was on him. I know a time it was Kada. Ikeda, he just dominated him. I think at time they had Jaylen Brown on him, didn't work. They brought in Hugo Gonzalez on him, didn't work. Nothing. No, they went zone. Honestly, if the Boston Celtics would have came back and won this game, I would have gave a lot of credit to Joe Mazzulla for going to that matchup zone because the lead was 17 and they went into that matchup zone and the Celtics ended up making a run. And in the fourth quarter, I don't think the Sixers shot it well or really played well. But I thought, Celtics, they're coming down. It's 99-98. You have three straight chances to take the lead, and you get some good looks for threes. But my whole thing is about Boston, and they live or die by it, and it's so frustrating. The threes, they don't fall. 13 for 49, bro. At some point, you got to get to the rim. The reason I thought the Celtics, they started off bad, but in the second quarter, the reason I thought they got back into it was they got some paint touches. Pritchard was getting 2 feet in the lane. Brown was getting in the lane. White got in the lane. And even when they shot three, get in the lane, kick out three, bottom, stuff like that. But I just think also in this game, the Celtics, I don't think the minute Hugo Gonzalez played, the minute Shireman played, you 22 for Shireman, 13 for Hugo. Okay, Hugo defensively was fine, but he didn't give you any points. Baylor Shireman, he gave you absolutely nothing. Starting Ron Harper Jr. is a choice, gave you nothing. Garza gave you nothing. It's hard. Look, in terms, you six guys basically gave you something. Brown, White, Pritchard, Kada, and Hauser. Oh, excuse me, five guys gave you something. So it's essentially five guys all night as well. And I know Philadelphia, they kind of had that issue. Grimes, I thought was good defensively, and he hit that 1-3. Yes, but those but just getting that extra boost from Edgecombe and beat Maxi and just getting that extra boost. Edgecombe with 23, he was tremendous. It's 13, but again with the Boston Celtics, you'll live by the three and you die by the three. And now you're going into an off season where you will have Tatum back healthy next year. People on Celtics social media were getting crazy with the Brown and Tatum. You gotta trade Brown. You don't have to do anything. If you're the Boston Celtics, you don't do that. Derek White finally came alive, but I do think there will be some questions about Derek White. Will he be moved? Who knows? His jumper was broke in these playoffs. Who knows? But the depth, you have to fix the depth. I just can't your depth has been too inconsistent. Shireman had played decent this season. Ron, these are Vooch, they played okay, but you just have to get better depth, to be honest, and you have to get a center. That was your one weakness in this series. You have to get a real center. Keita is a good big, but he's good coming off the bench. It's what he is. So obviously there's going to be some offseason questions about the Boston Celtics that we'll see. Obviously, what they do, free agency, draft, because they're trying to win a championship. Right? They're trying to win a championship. Uh, for Philly, they move on and they go into this next series against New York. Look, 2 years ago, that was one of my favorite first round series of all time, a classic 6-game series. Again, in B, he's always injured. He was playing on one leg. Maxi had that classic Game 5 at the Garden. That was Maxi's first year as really a breakout player. He's grown obviously from that. Paul George was not on the roster yet. So obviously that'll be a difference. Obviously there was no Edgecombe there. Uh I believe Grimes was still on the Knicks too. You just look at, yes, there's some familiar faces, but again, there was no in that run the Knicks made, there was DiVincenzo. He was great in that series. There's no him. There was no Mikal Bridges. OG had just got there. Look, that was the series where the Knicks just had a lot of injuries as well. Brunson was great. There was no Towns. Um, Hearts obviously in OKC. So look, to me, the key in that series is going to be the Cat and B matchup. Every time Embiid faces Cat Embiid takes Cat's lunch. Cat's gonna have to show up. I will tell you. I will always tell you about the Knicks. Cat is the X factor. And he is the when Cat is playing well and he's in a groove and he's playmaking for others and he's shooting that three ball and he's getting inside and he's playing to his true potential, the Knicks are a hard team to beat. But if Cat is playing bad, you ask Jalen Brunson to do a lot. Now in this series, I don't know who they'll have on Jalen Brunson. That will be a great question. I'll be very intrigued to see because I don't think it'll be Maxi. They'll probably start Edgecombe on him, maybe. But yet that will be also who they have on Maxi. Like, are are they? Because I don't think Brunson would guard him. I would think probably Bridges or OG, somebody longer, maybe that can affect them. We get the assignment. But Philly is kind of long. So again, there are some questions there. That game was tomorrow night, so we'll see quickly what they do. But yeah, Philly, they finally beat the Boston Celtics and beat 109-100. And Embiid said, "I'm tired of losing to these guys." He had the great quote, "It's not a rivalry because they always kick our butt." And they come back from 3-1 and finally beat these guys in the playoffs. So big time by Philadelphia, and that's going to be a interesting off season. Very interesting off season. Today, Orlando blows a 3-1 lead. You know the first round in the East ices. You know, uh, and they lose to Detroit. Detroit comes back in '03. This series went the exact same way as 2003's first round series, which was also a 1A matchup. Orlando won game one, Detroit won game two, Orlando won games 3 and 4. Then Detroit won the next three to win the series. The year that happened, the team that won the championship in 2003, the San Antonio Spurs. Uh, yeah. And I honestly think the Spurs can do it again, but it'll be very tough for them. But we can get to them another time. This is about Detroit and Orlando. Look, the story of this game was, and really the series. Look, the game six, where in the second half you only score 17 points and you missed 27 of your last 28 shots. That was it. That was it. That was the game. That was the series, really. Game five, I thought you had a great chance as well. You missed a lot of free throws, but Orlando had their chances. And look, I'm gonna be honest. After I saw that, I'm like, coming back to Detroit for Game Seven. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think there was really a shot that they had a chance to win. And where they lost this game was the run Detroit went on. I think in that last 3 to 4 minute stretch of the first half, it's around a 3-4 point game. And I think it's like around. I think I want to say it's 47, like 49, and then at the half you look up, it's like 60 or 49-47, and then at the half you look up, it's 60-49. Detroit, they're up 11, and they never looked back, and they just kept decreasing the lead. The story of the game was Cade finally got some help. Cade, 32-12. Cade's been doing this whole series, basically. but he got people to come along. Tobias Harris had 30. Dennis Jenkins off the bench was 16. Jalen Duren, you're alive. 15 and 15. Was tremendous in the basketball game. Tremendous. In a series where he's really struggled. Game 7, he showed up. I think what you saw with this Detroit team was the toughness aspect of them really showed up. The toughness aspect and them just not willing to give in. Again, in that game 6, they were down 24 points. And to find a way to come back and just get a win, that's big. Uh that's big. And now they'll be advancing to the second round. Obviously, here's their first series win since '08. I want to talk about Orlando for a bit because this season for them. I mean, it's just been so strange. Injuries early on. Paulo doesn't look like a franchise player. Doesn't look like Paulo and Franz can play together. Then you get to the end of the regular season. They have that disastrous loss against Boston. Then they have the other disastrous loss in the play-in where just Paulo doesn't play well, and then just oh my goodness, they smoke Charlotte, and then they take Detroit to the limit, but you blow a 3-1 lead, and now and then Game 6 is one of the worst collapses you've seen since the 2018 Conference Finals Game 7 when the Rockets missed 27 straight threes. So Paulo's look like, I'm gonna be honest for Orlando. Paulo looked like a franchise player this series. I thought he was terrific for a majority of the series. The game 6 stings, that was bad, but I thought for a majority of the series he was terrific. Bane, I thought has been good this series, this season in general. Franz, he gets hurt at late game 4. They lose 3 straight. That's no coincidence. Outside of those 3, I think everybody should be liable to being traded. I'm so serious. I think Suggs. Suggs just he's been awful shooting. He's been awful, and it really hinders him. He's been awful shooting. Wendell was okay, but let's be real. Wendell, he's very up and down. Anthony Black, very up and down. Uh, Mo Wagner, he's kind of always hurt. So Mosley probably gets fired tomorrow morning. My guess. That's just my gut feeling because when you see the report even before the play-in, he goes, the Magic are no the Magic aren't gonna bring him back no matter what. But then they had their eyes set on Mike Malone. And well, Mike Malone goes to UNT, and then I'm thinking, okay, maybe if this series doesn't go well, Taylor Jenkins will be a candidate, and then Taylor Jenkins gets snatched up by Milwaukee. So now you're looking around, and it's like, who's going to be, you know, who's better than Mosley? Honestly, just right now. And I'm not saying that to say Mosley's the greatest thing to sliced bread, but with that be, I also believe the roster construction is an issue in Orlando. This team can't shoot. Let's call a spade to spade. This team cannot shoot. And it's hard. And look, I think they have the bigs, they have the length, they have the physicality and all that. I do think Paulo's a franchise player. I do think he showed it. I mean, I think in this series, he's been fantastic. Again, he In this series, what he averaged 24, 9, and 6. It's better than his regular season numbers. You look at his recent games, he had 38, 9, and 6. Nobody came along with him. He had 45 in the game five. In the game four, he had only 18. He didn't really have a good game that game, but game three he had the 25. In game one, he was good to a 23, 9, 4. I I think Paulo is a franchise player. I do think he is a franchise player. I think he just in the regular season needs to be more consistent. If you look at his playoff numbers this year, last year, the year before that, I think he may be a I think he's a playoff riser. I mean, nobody came with him today. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, I'm just going to be on. This team cannot shoot. Suggs, look at his shooting splits. It's like 18, 18, and like 80. That's awful. Bane is the only legit shooter on that floor. Even Paulo, he's hit and miss. Franz, again, he's in the same boat as Paulo, hit or miss. Wendell Carter, they can't space out the floor. Even Detroit, even you're looking at this game, okay, Asar's not really a 3-point shooter. We get all that. They have guys that can come in and make threes. Dennis Jenkins, they've got Tobias Harris, they have Duncan Robinson, right? So they now I argue they need more scoring too, but man, I just look at this series for Orlando. I'm like, their flaws really showed in games 5, 6, and 7. That it's brutal, but Detroit's moving on here, and Detroit, it's a tough series. They get out of it. I think it tested them. It made them tougher. It made them stronger, and and and, and we'll see if they can, get to the East Finals. But Isaiah Thomas was in the house, and K put on a great performance. They'll be advancing to round two to face the Cleveland Cavaliers. S- Spoiler, they beat the Toronto Raptors 114-102. Raptors great season ends in Cleveland. Just couldn't get it done in Game 7. There, if quickly plays a majority of this series, is it different? Who knows? If Ingram plays Game 7, is it different? I don't know. You can Raptors fans will probably be asking those questions all off season. But this is a good young team. The issue they're gonna have is that they're very expensive. But we can get into that conversation a little later. Uh on this Sunday. I think tonight we gotta talk about Cleveland. Their stars Harden and Mitchell were still okay. They were okay. I'm not even trying. They were okay. The reason they won this game is because in the third quarter, Jared Allen became a man. Jared Allen was absolutely fantastic, and for as much grief as I can give him and that Cavs fans can sometimes give him, you have to give him his flowers tonight. Tonight, he's the reason they won that game. Again, 22 points. He had 19 rebounds, like 3 or 4 blocks. He affected multiple shots at the rim. He was contesting everything. They're not running offense like for him. They don't run offense for him. He's either going to get lobs, or he's gonna have to get put back dunks or off of offensive rebound. He's gonna have to go back up. Like they're not really running offense for him. This man almost had a 2020 game. In the paint, he was terrific. I also thought Struess and Merrill were very good tonight. I do think yes, you won Game 7. This isn't look getting past Toronto in the first round. I'm not isn't a like that's not what Cleveland made the trade for James Harden for, and how they feel that they felt like this roster. Because look, you made it past the first round last year, and you've made it past the first round in years prior, right? I mean, truthfully, the reason you brought in Harden and what Donovan Mitchell, y'all gonna write us off. It's the next series. It's Detroit. It's the conference semifinals and on. This is where the Cavs make their money. Have to make their money this year because if you lose, even if it's in 7 games, what's different than the last year or the year before that? Okay, I mean, last year you were the 1 seed. I mean, last year you were the 1 seed, and the Pacers did you in 5 games. It was quick work, light work for the Pacers. Uh, take my fan half off for a second of being a fan of the Pacers. I thought that was going to go 6 or 7 games. Ultimately, did believe we win the series, but 5 games, and then to look the way you did, I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. This year, like to me, Detroit, okay, they won 60 games. They finally won a series. To me, but they didn't have championship expectations. Cavs had championship expectations for jump. Them and the Knicks. Right. So for the Cavs, getting past Toronto, that's fine. That's great. Toronto down 2 starters in the game. You don't. I mean this is good for Cleveland, honestly. But you need to honestly get to the NBA Finals for it to be considered a good year, or maybe bare minimum the conference finals. Like if you lose to the Knicks in 7 games or something like that, you know, I don't know. I now if you lose to Philly, that's different. It's different conversation. Again, it really depends. Different conversation. But yeah, this is where they make this upcoming rounds where they make their money. So we will truly see what Cleveland is made of. Because Detroit, mentally and physically, they're going to test Cleveland. They're going to try to overwhelm you with their physicality. To me, the bigs, Allen and Mobley, if Allen can play like he played tonight consistently, that's going to be a heck of a series. But if Harden and Mitchell are this mid, then Detroit's going to probably end up winning that series. They're going to have to be better in that series. That series starts on Tuesday. Um, the very good win for Cleveland getting it done in 7 games. That's a very intriguing series to me though. So I'll be very interested to see how that goes. The Detroit and Cleveland. Somebody's getting to the conference finals. Either Cade's getting to the conference finals or D Mitch getting to the first conference finals. So it will be very that's to me a lot of these series are pick 'em. It if the if the Wolves are healthy, if the Wolves are healthy, I do feel like that like or not even the Wolves that hang healthy. If the Sumu and Ants healthy, that could become a pick 'em series. That I think that would be a pick 'em series. I mean, I don't think the Spurs will be overwhelmingly favored because of the experience that the Wolves do have. Sixers Knicks is a pick'em series, and uh Cavs Pistons is a pick'em series. Lakers Thunder, look, Thunder should. I'm gonna be real. Thunder should. do away with that. I mean, no Luca. No Luca. I know they have no J Dub, but just the way they're built, they should be able to do away with that 5 games. And if J Dub was there, 4, maybe 5. I don't see it go past 6. I'd be stunned if it went past 6 games. But yeah, this has been an episode of the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast. Instant reaction to these weekend's game sevens. The second round of the NBA playoffs are set. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until the next time, see ya.